Hello and welcome to that Eurovision Sites YouTube channel. My name is Jazzy and joining me today is
Hi, I'm Kittens. I use she, her pronouns. I'm excited to talk about Sanremo.
I use she, her pronouns as well. And today we are recapping Festival di Sanremo that took place in early February in Italy. The festival was won by Angelina Mango with her song La Noia. It was revealed the next day that Angelina Mango would go on to represent Italy at Eurovision in Malmö. I guess a good starting point would be what we think of La Noia as like the winner of the festival. How did we feel about it?
I was pleasantly surprised, really pleasantly surprised to see this song go. Um, it feels it's got a really broad appeal. I think it'll be like, it's just genuinely really uplifting track, really well performed. Stunt like the first night I literally gasped when I saw it. I was genuinely so surprised. Um Obviously Sanremo we talk about this a lot in the fandom, but we have this concept of Sanremo doesn't like to pick a female winner. And it's nice to see that chain broken. Really nice to see that. I think it will really have a broad appeal. It clearly has a broad appeal, like it's up the Spotify charts everywhere. Um, I just genuinely, I'm glowing with praise for her, honestly.
I'll be a bit honest, actually. It was up there in terms of my favourites in the festival, but it wasn't my number one favourite. But we will get on to other songs a little bit later. It was still a song like in the context of Sanremo that I really, really enjoy, and also in the context of the songs like in this year's Eurovision, I also really, really enjoy. And I think we will also talk about how well it will do in Eurovision a little bit later on as well. I think Angelina herself is a really charismatic performer, and you can tell she really loves every minute she is on the stage. And I think that really came through when it came to the like the final and for people to vote for her. And
Just
I
so
think
much personality coming through in
yeah.
her performance. It was like,
And what I also liked actually is like you saw the fierce side of her personality when she was performing La Noia. When she performed her duet, you saw a really soft and emotional side to her, which it shows that she can do both. And I think that's really, really good for her, like a performer that's also really young. I think I've read she's only 22, 21 or 22. So she's
get yourself a
really,
girl who can do both, I guess, you know?
yeah. And like, I'm really interested to see how this is staged at Eurovision because I think this has a lot of like opportunities to do really well, but I think it also has a lot bit of opportunities to not go as well as we think it'll go. And that's obviously down to a stage how they stage this because I feel like girly box they have to be staged right to do well. And
I would definitely agree.
and
Um,
we've not really seen Italy stage a girly bot because they don't send any of them. So it's really hard to know how they're going to stage this, but I'm really excited for Italy's prospects this year. And yeah, I think the next point to really getting on is a little bit more about the festival itself before we move on to Eurovision. Um, what other songs from the festival did we enjoy?
right, so right up there with a BPM of about 160, there is no way that this song would not be in my top. It has got to be On the Altar by Dargen Diaco. I'll get that right one day. Um, oh my god. Basically, this was made for me. He made this just for me. Um, I was just obsessed with it from the moment I heard it. It's, a great song, great message as well. Obviously a really socially conscious performer. Absolutely delivered night after night on the promise of, being a little bit more than just, oh, it's a banger. a little bit more depth to it, a bit more, a bit more to it. And, you know, I never thought it was going to win. I never thought I would see it at Eurovision, but I would love to see Darjan at Eurovision one day. I just want to see him make it at some point because he's such a good character. He's just an asset to Sanremo. Every time he turns up, it's just keep doing what you're doing, Darjan. It's great. Um, One that kind of hit me out of left field, that I want to mention was Vi by Alpha. I had not heard of this artist before. I knew nothing about them. And it absolutely hit me out of left field. I am obsessed. I love this song, and he's just adorable. Just 100% adorable. Can we just, yeah? The song is way too catchy. Um, and just a great performer. Like, I think everybody was wowed with his covers night performance. I think everybody's heart just went, oh, when he did that covers night performance. And, I've gone back and certainly listened to like some of his music now and stuff like that. So, I would love to see him back and return to Samro as well. Um, and the thing is, this year the quality at Sanremo was so. I kind of put down 5 tracks, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I think Casamia by Gali as well. The whole performance aspect, the rich, the alien manatee thing. Uh, if you haven't seen it, you're just gonna have to Google it. It was just really engaging performance, and again, another person really socially conscious and trying to make that point with their music. That really just give it a little lift for me. What about you, Jazzy?
I felt like this was probably one of the strong the actually I was gonna say one of the strongest selections of the year. Actually, it's the strongest selection of the year for me. I feel Two to Gold by Mahmood was honestly his strongest entry I think he's brought to San Remo. Um, I know like a lot of people are going to disagree with me there and say it's Soldi, but I prefer this to Soldi. There's just something about it I really, really enjoy. I think it was low key, but there were parts of it that were just really fun and playful, and I don't think we've really seen that side to Mahmood. We've seen it in his music away from Sanremo and away from Eurovision, but we've not seen it at Sanremo. And I think that was really nice to see. It was something him bring something different to Sanremo that he's also really good at, and showed another side to him as an artist. So I really, really like that. I also mentioned Alpha's Vi, and I have a feeling sometimes songs that are in Sanremo are actually better for Eurovision than they are Sanremo itself. And I actually thought Vi was one of those. It was a song I never thought was going to do well at Sanremo, but I feel like if it had been in Eurovision, it would have done well because it had that catchy hook. It's very memorable, and he's a great performer as well. And yeah, sometimes there's just songs I think they probably suit the Eurovision stage more than they do the Sanremo stage. And that was just my opinion on this one. And I think I can't go without talking about my favourite though, which was Shisha Mente by Annalisa. I love that the song was played around with genres. It had ballady moments, it had rap parts in the chorus, it had underground club moments as well. And I think the song just really came together nicely, and it just had a real impact for me, and I think it did for many others as well. Like just reading up on the Twitter timeline and on the Discord server,
A little bit.
like
Quando, 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 quando,
like
quando.
you won't have been there, the people watching, but all week I was constant in the Discord server going quando, 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 all week. Um, and I think I did it a few times on Twitter as well. Just loved it so much. And I also really love Casamia by Gali. And I loved his little manatee thing that he had with him every time. And I felt like that was a song that really grew throughout the week for me. And I think it grew through the week for a lot of viewers as well, because
I'm I didn't really get it the first time, and then like slowly through the week, and you got like a little bit more of the story every time, and I just think it has that great storytelling quality. Now, whether you could do that on stage at Eurovision and just be like and tell that story would be a lot harder story maybe to tell, but for Sanremo, beautiful.
like I felt like it grew as the week went on as well, because and that obviously showed in the results as well, because he was nowhere near even the top 10
And then
on the
suddenly,
first night, and I think he came third or fourth eventually. So that is a really good result for him. And I think him and Dargan, I kind of just want to like touch on. I think they brought really, really important messages to Sanremo and to the Italian audience with their songs and the messages that they were sharing on stage. I just thought that was amazing of them to do. And honestly, I'm proud of them for doing it, because I think it's a message that needed to be shared. And
and I think as well, it goes to show that like a lot of people think that only like slow songs and melancholy songs can have a message. And we have these two tracks that are absolutely not in the slow and melancholy market, and absolutely selling that message and saying, yes, you can have some fun with this song. We're going to speak to you, but it's not necessarily going to be like what you're used to for like this is, we're slow and sincere. We're going to hit you with this message.
yeah, absolutely. I think we spoke about the other songs now. I think it's time to maybe speak a little bit about Eurovision itself and how well we think Noia can do at Eurovision, because obviously that's the one going to Eurovision now. So
Yeah. I mean, I worry about the same thing that you're worrying about staging. Obviously at Sanremo we only saw it's her on a stage. Obviously there was the orchestra, but we're not going to get that at Eurovision. Um, how this is going to be done could make it a masterwork, or it could be difficult. I mean, I think she's got a lot of stage presence, and even if you just put her on an empty stage and just let her do her thing, I think it would do well. But I think to do really well, it needs to have that extra something, whether that's like graphics on screens, whether that's they maneuver the boxes around, whatever they want to do, but you need a little something to make it really special. But also, I really don't want to detract from her voice. Like, her voice is stunning. It's just like the break at the last like triple eight type bit, that's a jury winner there. Like when it just goes to her voice and nothing else, that's it. I was like, you know, she's just got that real like stage presence. Um, we do have a lot of up-tempo tracks this year. How it will face off against those other tracks, I don't know. This is a track inspired by like cumbia and stuff like that, that kind of Latin American kind of feel. Um, Sorry if it's Spanish, I forget, I'm losing the plot, but that kind of feel. Um, and whether that will how that will vibe with you know, say for example Nebulosa, for example, who are representing Spain. Um, don't really know. The song is really technical. There's a lot of really like, extremely fast delivery, which is not uncommon for like Italian songs, but it's really hard. It's really technically difficult. Um, I tried to massacre it myself earlier and absolutely tripped over every single word. It's totally fine. The cat walked off and everything. It was a wonderful moment. Um, so you can absolutely see how it's going to win over that vote, but it's still a great, fun song that is going to have a lot of appeal to the public. And I think she is going to be really appealing. Like, you could put another person on that song and it wouldn't be half as, like, charismatic as what it's doing now. And I know obviously they've said they might change some of the lyrics. They're looking at changing some of the lyrics to, I think they were saying English or Spanish. I Part of me doesn't want it. Part of me doesn't want it. I just want it to stay as it is. But I understand they want the like international appeal of it. So, I think it could do well. I definitely think the left-hand side of the board, uh clip this for later. I definitely think left-hand side of the board. I think she's got that great appeal. But we'll see, I guess. What about you, Jazzy? What do you think?
I think it's going to do pretty well at Eurovision. I think we've had discussions on the test Discord about whether juries will get it or not. I think they will. I think it'll be fine. I think it depends on how it's staged. I think televoters will enjoy this on the night. I think it'd be a little bit more palatable than some of the televote bait songs that we have.
It's not obvious telephone bait, but I think it will definitely have appeal.
um, I think I think as we speak, it's number one on the scoreboard app. Um, so it is definitely well liked by Eurovision fans. To be fair, I haven't checked the scoreboard app in a few days, so I'm not quite sure if that's changed. I don't think it has. There is something that's telling me it's not a Eurovision winning song, but it should do pretty well and keep it at least top 10 streak alive. And I think it could potentially get a top five. I think top 10, top five, I think it really depends on how this is staged at the end of the day. I don't know if I'd invite the introduction of Spanish lyrics just because of the style of the song. I definitely wouldn't invite English lyrics, but Spanish lyrics, I might be like, okay, that works with the style of the song. That makes sense because then that would definitely attract Spanish voters anyway, and obviously the rest of the world as well. Because obviously, I think countries in South America definitely vote for this, so I think it would attract appeal from Spanish speaking countries and countries that like that style of music.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have Romania and Moldova as well, who quite like that style too. And I don't know. I think it would. I don't know if the addition of Spanish lyrics would have a mass appeal or they wouldn't, but I don't think it would hurt it. I think if they added English lyrics, I think that would hurt it. I don't think this would be as authentic
It
with
doesn't
English
need it.
lyrics.
I just don't think it
Um,
needs it.
like I don't think it needs to be translated. Um, Obviously, again, we do have a lot of up tempo songs this year, and it really is how that stands up. I think I wouldn't say it doesn't really have like a close competition that it's too similar to. I guess the only thing it has similarities to is that it's a little bit more palatable than maybe say Croatia or Estonia or Finland. However, it probably has that same palatabilityness of Lithuania, which is also a bit televote bait friendly. In that they're both quite up tempo, and I don't think these countries will have anything that will put televotes off
Mm.
voting for them. Um, Whereas I think the other three could have potential things that could put televoters off. Um, so I think that's probably its closest competition right now, music style wise. But obviously they're attracting different like demographics of Europe almost as well. So I think, yeah, I'd say Lithuania is probably its only televote competition in terms of liking that style of music.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
my thought with going with Nebulosa is obviously this is kind of a kind of traditional kind of that kind of music. So maybe it would steal a bit. Like initially, if I had heard La Noia on its own and not known it was an Italian, I would probably have guessed that it was Spanish. So as a casual, like just sitting there and going, oh, I like that song. It has that style. So maybe that will do it. But I it's hard to tell, and I'm never very good at predictions. I'm going to say that right now.
Neither
So
am I.
we're the
So
worst.
it's like we're just getting there could be a couple of songs here and there that could take points from it,
Mm.
but we could be completely wrong.
Yes, I
Um,
regularly are.
so I guess we should probably get close to wrapping this up. Do we have any final thoughts on Sanremo this year?
I mean, my initial thought in general is this is, I think, my third or fourth year of watching Sanremo, and I don't think I've ever been so engaged with Sanremo, both musically and, generally the show. Um, I mean, musically, I instantly playlisted more tracks than I think I've ever done before. Um, and I think that's a testament to just the variety of tracks we've got this year. Last year was really man ballad heavy. Um, and it it's I'm sure some people absolutely loved it, but for me, I struggled. And for this year to go with what felt like a very much more like diverse musical selection felt like a really wise decision given what happened last year. Not that I'm beefing with Marco Mengoni, it wasn't for me, but it was a perfectly fine song. But it felt like a lot more variety, and thank you, keep doing that. Obviously, we do have finally broken the Sanremo Send a Woman curse, and the variety of music coming from more women felt beautiful. Love that. Um, it's a bit of an aside from the show, but I just want to mention Fanta Sanremo because it was so much fun. And you're getting so much from the artists like themselves trying to pick up points from Fanta Sanremo. I wish more national finals would have the energy to do like a Fanta Sanremo. I could see somebody like Mello doing a Fanta Sanremo, Fanta Mello. They were even joking about it in the San Marino final at the weekend that they want a Fanta San Marino and stuff like that. Which is, but um, and of course, I don't think we can not mention Amadeus and Fiorello, the iconic duo, and all of that ending. I don't even have that much history about Sanremo, and I feel like I genuinely felt like I was gonna have a cry at the end. I was just like, oh, it's over. It's over. Um so yeah, I just genuinely, it was a really well put together show this year. They nearly almost ran on time. A wild concept. Most nights. Sometimes they were even early. Um so I think kudos to all of them. And personally, on a personal note, I love the Sanremo signers. For those of you who don't know, there is a Sanremo accessible version that puts out every year alongside Sanremo, and they have it fully signed and fully subtitled throughout the whole week. And if you get the chance to have a look at some of the sign language performers, they are amazing. You have to go look. It's so good. Sorry, I'm just gushing about Sanremo this year, which is not a thing I ever thought I would do.
I think my main final point is I'm really gonna miss Amadeus and Fiorello. Like, I feel like they've been a part of my life for a really long time, and it's to be fair, it's only been like 3 or 4 years since I think Amadeus has been like the director producer of Sanremo. Although I am really excited to see what happens next year with like new people in charge. But I love their on-screen chemistry. Apparently they've been friends for like 20, 30 years, and and you can
Yeah.
tell when you see them interact on screen. They're just so fun and so natural. I think there was a point towards the end of the show where they just literally sat down on the stairs and just had a conversation with each other and with the audience and with the viewing audience, and it just felt right. And it just felt like very natural. It didn't feel staged. It just felt like it was them being them and them just having their like final moment on the stage together. And I'm really glad that he was there on Amadeus's last night, because I feel like he's been a big part of Amadeus's Sanremo journey.
Yeah.
And I also have to say, I'm really glad that there was more women in the top 5 this year, because last year, if you didn't watch, it was 5 men that made it to the super final. And while these songs were okay, they were all quite, I think all but one was quite similar in vein. I think 4 of them were ballads, and then one of them was Laza Shinishare. I can't pronounce his song title. I'm so sorry. Um,
Shenere, maybe?
Shinare,
I don't.
Shinare.
Yeah.
And so obviously there was a lot more variety of styles in the super final, which I really really liked. Like there was 2 male up tempo songs, 2 female up tempo songs, and a male ballad. So it felt like, oh, this is a lot more like variety in terms of what's making the top 5 and what Italy are voting for. So that was really nice to see. And yeah, I'm really excited for Sanremo in 2025 as well, because like it's going to be all new. And I'm also
Yeah.
excited to see which artists come back from this year as well, because there is some that I definitely want to see again and get their second shot. Um, Obviously for some this year it worked out better than others. But yeah, it's just a really, really good show, and definitely think it was probably my highlight of national final season. Some week in general, not just the final, the week in general was a big high point in national final season. And yeah, just something I really, really enjoyed. So I feel like I should probably properly wrap this up now. That brings us to the end of this national final recap, I guess. If you want to call it a national final, that is.
Ooh.
Um, but that is a different debate for a different day.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Kittens for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be notified whenever we have a new national final recap or interview come out. Also, be sure to check us out over at That Eurovision site. You can find us at That Euro site over on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Threads, and Blue Sky. All that's left for me to say now is bye.
Bye.